What up, my dude?
Yo, 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 yo,
Hey,
yo,
man.
yep.
I want to start this conversation with acknowledging the barriers to fun.
Mm.
So this weekend, you and I, well, Wednesday or so, you and I decided we're going to hang out with the families this weekend, this
And
past
have
weekend.
fun. We're gonna
We're gonna
schedule
have
fun.
fun. We're going to schedule fun. That schedule, well, and I don't want to overplay but we had said we're going to come my way. We're going to, and Stu and I, for context, for those of you who don't know, we live about 45 minutes away. We're going to come my way. We're going to go to this river, we're going to do a picnic and all this stuff and whatever's going to be great. It's going to be fun. And then the night before, I'm like, hey, dude, are we still hanging out tomorrow? Because you had ignored me basically the whole day and weren't responding or answering my phone call. I'm like, I guess we're playing or not. So then you responded later, or maybe it was that morning, the next morning, like, hey, let's change the whole plan up. Drive this way instead. We're not going to do a picnic. My wife's not coming. We're going to change all these plans, and I'm going to invite other people, and we're going to go do this thing. And I was
So
like,
it's all my
and that
fault.
day, no, not your fault at all.
Oh.
But you did change everything in the last minute, which is fine. So there was a barrier. I legitimately, just being completely honest, and that morning there was a lot of frustrations. I was trying to get, like, we had hail damage. I was trying to get stuff taken care of. Like, it was just, I couldn't, the things I wanted to do were just not happening. I wanted to go to church. We couldn't do church. Like, it's just a whole list of things. And I was just real salty, pretty grumpy. And
You
and
you
at
were
some
grumpy
point,
when you
and
showed up. I'm not gonna lie.
well, that was also different because I apparently put in a different trailhead. And so then I got there and I'm like, this is not it. I was still 20 minutes away. I was just salty, man. Like, everything was kind of going, and I had a choice to make, right? The first choice was like, hey, kids, pack up. We're gonna go. Cause I almost called it. I'm like, you know what? I'm just not in the right space. But because we've been having these conversations and doing these things and being intentional for so long now, you and I specifically, I knew that, and I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, look, let's just get out the door when we get there. Like, you're complaining right now because you guys always complain. When we get there, you're going to have a blast. You're not going to want to leave because that's what happens every time. I literally had to tell myself that. I was like, dude, just get over yourself, get over all the hangups, just go. And when you're doing this thing, whatever it is, which we're going to talk about, creaking, when you get there, it's going to be amazing and it's going to be fun. And you're going to be with your best friend and your kids are going to be hanging out. It's going to be good. But I really had to fight through that, dude. I really did. It was a struggle. It was tough, but we went.
We went.
We went.
Yep, we went. There's this Casey Kindle, he's been, I guess, on our podcast. He invited me to go do this with him a while ago. It was in the spring. And there's a book I read called Creative Adventuring, and he talked about it too. And the author talked about this thing called creeking. It's essentially going to a creek and getting in and just going crazy. Like, just let your imagination go wild and just go on an adventure and walk the creek, play in the creek, come up with, crazy adventure ideas and stories, throw logs, hunt for crawfish, whatever it is, go do it. And it's like so much fun. Like, I have so much fun every single time. Like, me as a 43-year-old man, have so much fun every single time I go, and my kids have so much fun as well. And it reminds me, like, when I was a kid, we actually did this when I was a kid. Like, we lived by a creek, and it was near a golf course, and so, like, we'd go all the time down the creek and we'd go hunt for golf balls in the creek. And same thing, like, we'd get wet, we'd, like, we'd be hunting for golf balls, but we'd also be, throwing sticks and playing with mud and trying to catch fish. And, like, it was just so much fun. It was just a great memory that I had from childhood. And now, we're offering this to our kids as well. And so I, had you come along this time, and I don't know, what'd you think?
Well, it was funny because you had gone previously with Casey, like you said, and,
Yeah.
and you guys you kind of gave me some highlights, but I still didn't. I was like, I just don't understand this. this creaking thing. Because
Yeah.
I thought it was more structured. Like I thought it was like a thing, like a structured thing. Like you
Yeah.
do like
There's
here's the objective,
zero
here's the
structure.
whatever. And so what we rolled up to is you guys were by a bridge. There was this log. I don't know. I'm assuming you found it.
Yeah.
And you guys were like throwing the log over the bridge and it was floating under and whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, we can, this is just messing around.
Yeah.
Just messing around. And so, we jumped in and I loved it, man. I mean, I love being outside. My kids love being outside. I love being in a river. I love being by rivers, in rivers. And then just the creatures, right? The little creatures, the fish, the crawdads, all that kind of stuff. And so we're in there. And you can imagine, like, you start splashing with your kids, you're having fun, you're laughing, you're throwing them in, you cannonball, you're doing all that kind of stuff that is just fun, and everybody's laughing and they're enjoying it. And then you go on an adventure and you walk down the river and you catch these crawdads, you're poking with sticks, but you're also teaching lessons, right? You're like, hey, this is how you can pick up a crawdad, this is whatever. And like, even Casey, I was like, man, I'm curious if they really pinch hard. Like, let's do it, Casey, let's see. And like,
Yeah.
we were putting our fingers and it got a hold of Casey and it pinches hard. It
Yeah.
pinches hard. It did. I
It
think my
hurts.
fingers are too fat. Like they couldn't get its little pinchers on it. But even that, like the kids were like, oh, they're like, oh, it's got it, and just having a good time. And I'll tell you, it just is something that, like, I saw my daughter, texting to one of her friends. She's like, oh, I'm going to this, we're just playing in the water, having fun, whatever. Like, even they're establishing memories and you're in those memories.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the base fundamental level, as the dad, you're taking your kids on adventures and you're in those memories. You're a big part of the memories. You're enabling those things. And it's just building relationship, building love, building trust, building fun. And that's one of the things we talked about today in the mastermind is fun is extremely profound. And I've learned some lessons about it, not only to push through, like I just described at the beginning of this, but I'm thinking about my son, who now he's cooking himself breakfasts and meals and food. And that did not come from me being like, hey, here's a chore. What it came from is him being like, hey, Dad, I want to crack the eggs. I want to make a mess. I want to, make the waffles. I want to do this stuff. And it was fun for him. And through that fun, when I finally was like, okay, yeah, I might have to clean up. I'm gonna have to pull some eggshells out of a egg. Like, what, like, is that really a big deal? No, it's not. So let's just let it go. Let it ride, see what happens. And through that fun and the memories and laughter we had making eggs, he now is also more independent and has confidence and makes his own breakfast. He's 10 and he'll like just, turns the fire on, to like all the things.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of cool. I did not expect that as a benefit, but it's really cool how it works out that way.
Well, and it's modeling for our kids what, we hope that they, have as a value in their life later on. Just think about like them remembering you and me as 43-year-old men in the middle of a creek, and all of our kids taking moss from the bottom of the creek and putting it on your head to make a moss wig. Like, you had basically a green moss wig on your head.
Yeah, that happened.
They have like dreadlocks, and it was awesome. And I was cracking up laughing, and my kids were having a blast.
And it was so stinky. It was so stinky.
It was stinky, but it was awesome.
But it was a lot of fun, dude. It was awesome.
They were laughing, like they were having fun, and they were being creative, and all of it was free. Like you just had to like initiate it. You just had to make the invite, put time on the calendar, schedule it out, pack up the kids, get in the car, even if you're salty. And then as soon as you got there,
especially if you're salty,
as soon as you got there, that salt wore off pretty quickly, didn't it?
Real quick. Yeah, it was awesome, man. Yeah, we had a blast. Yeah, I totally forgot about I need some pictures of that, by the way. The moss dreadlock, just not moss. It wasn't moss. It was the weeds from the bottom of the river.
They call it seaweed, but it's not seaweed. It's like creek.
I don't know.
Creek weed.
Creek weed that the little bugs live in. Because at one point I was like, why am I so itchy? I feel like my back. And I'm like, oh wow, there's bugs leaving their habitat and biting my back now. No, it was a great time. And again, um, this is possible for anybody. It just requires us sometimes to be a little bit creative. It's more fun with friends, at least for me. I'm an extrovert. Maybe introverts might be more fun for themselves and their families. I don't know, but at the end of the day, it's just a little bit of effort. It's a little bit of creativity, and the ROI on that is infinite. Is infinite, and who knows when that's going to come up. I'll tell you, and I say this when it just popped in my mind when it comes up. When these memories come up and the kids just get laughter for years, it reminds me of I went over to a friend's house, and at some point in the night I was like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna light a fart on fire. As stupid and juvenile as that sounds, what do you think years later those kids like laugh about and talk about every time we hang out? We hang out a decent amount. Like it comes up almost every time. And this was years ago. And I've not done it since, but it's just something that will never leave them. And it's so dumb and juvenile. I get it, but awesome. Awesome. But that is now part of their, me lighting a fart on fire is part of their mememory forever.
You should feel
And who
special
knows
about
what that. I do feel special, man. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody can do it. Just throwing it out there.
Let's promote creaking more. Let's promote lighting farts on fire less.
That's like your opinion, man. Like I'm not buying into that. I'm not buying into your limitations for my life.
Fair enough.
All right. Giddy up. Go Creek. Make memories. Have fun.
See you.
See you.